welcome. I was waiting for that cue, and that cue just kept coming. I'm so glad you are here, and I'm glad I'm here. I'm Penelope Williams. Glad to be with you this afternoon. Sing with me. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks. Thank you, Monique. All the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, so grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share. We share life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears. I am grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for. Thank you, Jericho. Yeah, love of God appears. I am grateful, so grateful, grateful for this day, for the love we share, the life we make, and I give thanks for all the many ways that the love of God appears, that the love of God is here.
Thank you so much, and welcome to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta. I'm Jean Bell. I'm the Associate Minister here. My pronouns are she and her, and I am so glad that you are here with us today. If you are viewing on Facebook or YouTube Live, please like and share this broadcast so we can continue to spread this wonderful message of new thought and science of mind out into the world. So, Reverend David will be our speaker today. Yes, it is Practice Sunday, so he's going to lead us into a wonderful practice, a spiritual practice, to help ground us even further in this wonderful philosophy of ours. And so right now, I'm going to say the affirmation, and then I'm going to invite you to say it along with me. So I'm going to read it all the way through, and then you will join me. I am lifted on the wings of love. I open my heart to the living presence of love within me, around me, and through me. I allow love to guide my thoughts, shape my words, and inspire my actions. Grounded in law, I rise in love, and I let it carry me to new heights of compassion, connection, and peace. All right, let's say that together in one voice. I am lifted on the wings of love. I open my heart to the living presence of love within me, around me, and through me. I allow love to guide my thoughts, shape my words, and inspire my actions. Grounded in law, I rise in love and let it carry me to new heights of compassion, connection, and peace. And so it is. Thank you. And please welcome Jericho Brown with the announcements.
Thank you. Clap. Thank you. Hi, my name is Jericho Brown. My pronouns are he and him. I serve on the board of SLCA. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We are so happy that you chose to spend your time with us. Please make yourself known in the online chat or in person so a member of our welcome team can greet you. We have so many great opportunities to connect, grow, serve, and give at SLCA. For more information about today's announcements and other opportunities, please scan the QR code found on your monitor. Join Reverend David today during our 5 o'clock hour as he dives into the guiding principles of our philosophy, what we believe. Reverend David will give us a guide into a deeper look at each principle and how they pertain to our everyday lives. This workshop will take place every fourth Sunday. Have you checked out The Gathering yet? Susan Zoller is thrilled to join with you and other SLCA members as we share the wisdom of Ernest Holmes for the 365 Science of Mind daily affirmation readings. This book gives us a whole year of wisdom and spiritual jewels for each day of the year. In the gathering, we get to discuss how this wisdom applies to your daily lives and how it can help us to spiritually grow. Register today and connect with Reverend Susan on Zoom each Wednesday at 6:30. Adult study is growing, and we want you to join us each Sunday morning at 9:30. This SLCA practitioner-led class explores the Science of Mind magazine and is a wonderful way to connect with community as you grow in this teaching. Check out our website today and register for the Zoom link. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to visiting you after the service in the social hall for food and fellowship. I appreciate all treatment for allergies. Please be sure to speak to at least 2 people you have not met or have not spoken to in a while. And always remember, you belong.
Thank you, Jericho Brown.
Thank you.
As we prepare for meditation, affirmative prayer with Tony, we're going to start with music. Set the tone. Open your mind. Unfold your heart. Relax your senses. Feel every part. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound. Breathe every breath. Release your cringe. Love without waiting. Slowly unhinge. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound. Unbound.
Let's breathe. Settle in and welcome that presence, that peace, the love, the joy, all of it, all expressions of the one and perfect mind, infinite intelligence. It's all the same. As I connect to that, relax into it, there's a peace that settles within every aspect of my being, in my cells, in my bones, in my muscles, all aspects of my being just return to the place of perfect perfection. And it is here that I know that not only is God present within me, working through all aspects of my being, it is beckoning me to ever be present with it, beckoning me to ever tap into its wisdom and tap into the infinite storehouse of its intelligence. That that means I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to think about anything. I just need to relax and allow. So let's do that right here, right now. Relax and allow. I know it's all good. It's all in perfect order. And I'm so grateful to understand that, to know that with every aspect of my being, to breathe that, to expect that. Know that with me. As I continue to open up to that knowledge, as I continue to be one with that, I know it is all good all the time. And so it's in that sense of gratitude, I turn this over to the law. No, it's already done. It's complete. And so, if you're in agreement with that with me, we can say together, and so it is.
You can stop waiting for love to find you. Look inside your heart. Love's already who you are. So lift up your voice. Let it be heard. Tell me your story, tell it to me. Don't leave out a word. 'Cause I think I have been there too, and I'm a seeker just like you. You ain't got a thing to fear. Looks like love is growing here. So take your guard and let it down. Go deeper still until you come unwound, unbound.
Thank you, Tony, for that beautiful prayer. Thank you for Penelope for setting us up. Good afternoon, everyone. Good to see you. Good to be in spiritual community today. We're grateful that you're here. I'm David Alexander. I'm the spiritual director here. My pronouns are he and his. And this is our time of tithes and offerings. We do this a little bit in a different place in the service because we like to set the tone for the rest of our time together and really make it about an intentional spiritual practice to be in alignment with what is coming to us and moving through us. And that's what this moment is all about. So if you're a pledger like me and you contribute monthly on a regular basis, you can pick up a pledge card to drop that in the basket. Otherwise, you can look at one of the many ways we have for you on your screen. Text to give with your phone, really easy, to the phone number 404-800-9467. Any dollar amount you want to circulate today to SLCA. Scan the QR code or visit the website. All of those things work really well. And of course, cash and check, we have baskets and all of those methods as well. And we do this to support this community. We do this to be in alignment with the good that our spirit is receiving through this service and to participate in the circulation of a greater good, remembering who we are and that everything that we have in life comes from an invisible supply, an infinite supply, and we're in right relationship with that. I often say that you've heard the Bible teaching of a gracious giver is a joyful giver, and I say that a liberated soul is a generous soul. A liberated soul is a generous soul. And so we know that we are liberated, we are free in mind and heart and body. We are free from all dogma. We're free from even all previous ideas of negative teaching around tithing or circulating. We're free from any dogmatic ideas that have previously bound us. We're free in spirit to be who and what Spirit has designed us to be. We are free and liberated souls. And as free and liberated souls, we are generous souls because we know who and what we are. And therefore, we can freely give it, freely circulate it, freely share it without any thought of obligation or retraction or anything else. And so find the way that fits for you today that is your divine alignment with circulation, including all of our friends and family watching online. You're part of a growing spiritual community across the country. We have givers who support us from Oregon and California and Texas and in Mississippi and where else? Florida, all over the place. We get contributions that come in. So thank you for not just passively watching the service, but engaging wherever you are, on your phone, on your laptop, in your space throughout the week. So hold that gift in your hand today, and let's bless it now with these words. I live in a universe of abundance. As I freely and joyfully give, I join in the divine flow, and all that I share with life returns to me multiplied abundantly. And so it is.
So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed.
All right, so we receive these gifts now. We receive them into the heart of this ministry. All of those that are coming in online today and throughout the week and throughout the month, all of the love and the support that pours into this community from every angle, from every corner, from every heart and every individual. I give thanks. I receive it now into the heart of this ministry that it might do its good and perfect work and circulate back out into this community as the life and the energy and the vibration that we experience together. For this and more, I say thank you, God, and so it is.
I want to share a song from a dear friend of mine, Brannis McKenzie. She's from the left coast. Yeah. Good stuff. If ever a change is gonna come, it starts with me. When all of my ducks are in a row, it allows me to see whatever I need right now is waiting for me to step in and start right now, creating whatever I see. It's time for transformation that heals my private nation. Whatever I can be, all I need is to see. Time for transformation. Whenever I feel it's time for change, I open my heart to wonders that Spirit brings upon me. I'm ready to start. I know whatever I need is there, just waiting for me to step in and start right now, creating whatever I see. It's time for transformation to heal my private nation. whatever I can see, whatever I can be, all I need is to see. It's time for transformation. Heal my private nation, whatever I can be, all I need is to see. Time for transformation. Go wherever you're led to go. Do whatever you're led to do. Have faith, and you'll see the real you. Say whatever you're led to say. Be whomever you're led to be. Have faith, and you become the real you. It's time for transformation, to heal my private nation, whatever I can be. All I need is to see. It's time for transformation, to heal my private nation, whatever I can be. All I need is to see. All I need is to see. It's time for transformation. Wow. Yeah, it's pretty moving. Thank you so much. The music of Brannis McKenzie, and she's a powerful music leader out in the
Yes.
Oakland community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, it's Praxis Sunday. And we have chimes going off. That's good. I thought that was me, but that's somebody else. Which means, in Praxis Sunday, we do a little less talking and a little bit more practicing, a little bit more diving deep into spiritual practices together as a group. I often work with this Buddhist paradigm from a Buddhist teacher, Reverend Angel Williams, who says, without interchange, there can be no change without interchange. We used this last Praxis Sunday. I don't have a slide for it, so I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. But there can be no change without interchange. What's the first part? We probably all agree with that, right? There can be no change without energy. I got to do the inner work. Right? The second part says, without outer change, no change matters. Without outer change, no change matters. Without change in society, without change in the world, without change in circumstances, what is the point of doing your inner work if nothing changes on the outside, right? So it's this beautiful paradox, this sort of yin and yang of, yes, of course, the inner work, but not just the inner work. Yes, of course, the outer work and the advocacy and the change on the outside, but not just that, right? It's that beautiful balance of both of those things, and where do we begin? And so we've been talking all month about this concept of love, on the wings of love. We've been reflecting on words from the founder of this spiritual community, Dr. Kennedy Schultz. And I don't have an audio clip today, but I remember on the sermon that I used, he began his talk doing a spiritual mind treatment. In the beginning of that treatment, he says, we treat our mind for new ideas, because new ideas are the avenue of transformation. We treat our mind for new ideas because new ideas are the avenue of transformation, right? That's what if we're going to have change on the outside, if we're going to have change on the inside, if we're going to have transformation take place in our lives, with our finances and our health and our relationships and our work in the world, anywhere, then we probably need a new idea, right? How many people know the world needs some new ideas, right? The world needs some new ideas. Because what we have currently is the manifestation of old ideas, right? Everywhere, right? Whatever the results are currently are the expression or manifestation of old ideas that we've accepted, that we've endorsed, that we have bought into consciously or unconsciously, but they are the manifestation of yesterday's thought, and the thought before that, and the thought before that. And so transformation in our future, a different tomorrow, a different outcome, again, in any area of life, is going to be dependent upon a new thought, a new idea. So we treat our mind for new ideas. And so we've been building on this idea of love this month. And in Science Mind, we say that, God is all that there is. God is all there is. God is love. That love is the very substance of our being. And if that's true, if God is all there is, and God is love, is the very substance and supply of our whole being, then why would we ever choose to withhold love from ourselves or from each other? And I think it may be even a better question, how could we ever choose to withhold love from ourselves or from others if it's all that there is? How do you withhold that which is all that there is? Right? And so the only sort of logical answer to that question is because I believe in something else. There must be love and. In order for me to withhold it, either from myself or from somebody else, there must be love and whatever the opposite of that is. Because if love was all there is, I wouldn't be able to withhold it because it's all that there is. I can't take it from you because you already have it. I can't I can't hold it from myself because I already have it, because it's all that there is. So somewhere there in me, there must be a belief of that and something else, even if it's the idea of just the absence of it, right? This is why the Buddha says that it is possible, the Buddha taught that it is possible to live 24 hours a day, listen to this, to live 24 hours a day in a state of love. Every moment, every glance, every thought, every word can be infused with love. How many people think that's a high bar? Right? Like, not every moment. not every moment, right? There's got to be some moments, right? But the Buddha said every moment can be lived with love. Every thought, every word, every action, every glance can be infused with this idea. But it's a challenge, and that's why it's a practice, something that we breathe into. And so today we're going to practice how to maneuver whatever ideas we have about love and, or the absence of love, or anything that causes us to withhold love from ourselves or from other people. We're going to do that through a number of different practices. The first is a set of 4 practices that come from the Buddhist tradition. Teacher Thich Nhat Hanh, beautiful mindfulness teacher and monk in the Buddhist tradition, teaches that there's this thing, what he calls the 4 immeasurables. The 4 immeasurables. And they're ways to remind ourselves that love is all that there is, and to sort of regulate, to get ourselves back on track when we find ourselves off, and also to cultivate the practice of that love and that mindfulness. And I'm going to light our candle just because I'm noticing it here, and we're going to be breathing and meditating, and if you want a focal point, you can have one. So let's begin with just a deep breath. And the beginning thought is just this idea of noticing what comes up when we contemplate the idea that there is just love and nothing else. You hold that idea and then let it begin to expand outward. As we do in the practice of visioning, which we're going to end today's spiritual practice with, we begin with the idea of love. We begin with the idea of remembering a time when we felt absolutely and unconditionally nurtured and loved, whether it was in this lifetime or another, or whether it was prenatal or ethereal or whatever it is, that we remember a time when we just felt infused with love. And so if you can kind of pull that idea in to the very center of your being and pull it into the closest, maybe even youngest memory that you have. And if you imagine your life and relationships and connections and the allness of who you are, like a series of concentric circles, or like layers of an onion, as you expand out from that idea, as you breathe and you exhale. As you breathe in, you hold the idea, love is all there is. As you breathe out, let it expand. Feel that circle widening. And just notice, just keep doing that. Breathe in, love is all there is. Breathe out, let it expand. And then notice if there are any places, as it expands outward on the circles of your connections, family, friends, workplace, the world, the community. As you get further out, the more expansive and further distance from you those relationships and connections are. But you are part of a world with 7 billion people on it, so there are a lot of circles, right? And just notice how far that loving kindness and that idea of love can go before maybe there's a ripple, a hiccup, an interruption of some kind. It could be as close as a lover or spouse that you're not getting along with, or a family member, or a coworker, or traffic on 85. Or somebody on TV or in the news, or whoever you feel is at fault one way or the other for chaos or something else other than love in the world. And it doesn't matter how big or small that is or how close it is, but it's just a noticing. And if we would just take time to do this practice every day, to just notice how far it reaches and how far it doesn't, and just note that without any desire to change it, without any need to make it different than what it is. Just let it be what it is. As you note it mentally, then you say, okay, am I willing to be an increase for love today? And just tune in to whatever Spirit has to say to you. Am I willing to be an increase for love today? If the answer is yes, pick up your things, you go about your day, you do what you do. There's nothing else you need to do. Spirit will take care of the rest. If the answer is no, then it's very likely that there's a reason that will come with that. Right? Spirit will tell you, nope, not yet. I need an apology. I need a cup of tea. I need a moment. Something. Okay. And you just note that. And then go about your day. All that's required in this spiritual practice is to ask the question of your level of willingness. And then let Spirit do the rest of the work. And so that's where we begin. Thich Nhat Hanh says there's 4, what he calls immeasurables. And really, we're kind of already doing the first one. The first one he says is loving kindness. But I just wanted to do a check-in of awareness about like our relationship with this thing called love. And that there are places where, for each of us, where it stops. Places that it goes further than we think. And places where it's sort of regulated or gated based on various things, right? At any given time. And the practice is not to make any of that wrong or bad, but is just to notice it. And notice how it changes from day to day, maybe from hour to hour, certainly from week to week, from month to month, from year to year. And then just notice it and then ask, am I willing? Am I willing to be a place for the increase of love? So the first immeasurable that Thich Nhat Hanh teaches about is called loving kindness. And it's to do exactly what we were just doing, which is to look through the lens of loving kindness and extend that lens. One mantra and way that this has been done and taught by him and many others is mantras like what are called loving kindness mantras. May all beings be blessed. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. Right? And just repeating that over and over again. Or you might say, may all beings experience love. May all beings experience sufficiency, safety, trust. It could be anything that we want to focus on. Whatever we would want for ourselves, we want that for others. May all beings be happy, well, prosperous, joyous. You usually don't throw the whole kitchen sink in there, but you choose 2 or 3 and just repeat that. And that's an extension of loving kindness. In my meditative practice, I'm just saying, may all beings experience this vibration. That's it. The second one is compassion. And you see how these are all really, closely related with each other. And the lens of compassion is a recognition of our oneness, that we don't deny the pain or the suffering of others, right? That we allow ourselves to sit with the pain and suffering of others, not so that we can wallow in it with them, not to compare our own pain or our own journey with others, but to acknowledge. And when we see people, because again, we're thinking about how love is all there is, and how our mind can hold on to ideas of something less than that there's love and then the absence of it, that there's love and then the sort of regulated worthiness of it. And when we live in a world that is propped up by ideas like that, then that means some people are experiencing it and some people aren't. And that means some people are thriving and that means some people are suffering. And we know that some people are suffering. We know that there is suffering and pain and chaos being created in the world very actively, whether it's through individual behavior on one-on-one level, or whether it's collectively, globally, public policy, wars, etc., right? And so when we see those who are acting out of those pain places, the call is for compassion. The call is to say, I see that you're struggling. I have struggled too. May your struggling end, and you have all that you need. That's what compassion is. So you see that it's not excusing the behavior. It's not, right? It's not permission for somebody who's abusing to continue abusing. It's not, right? But our response is compassion. It's to say, I see that the way in which you're acting is a pain body reaction. You're acting out of pain. You're acting out of your own lack of sufficiency in love. And because I can see that, I can recognize where I've acted out of that, where I've had a lack of love in my life. I've had a lack of sufficiency, a lack of sense of safety or trust or knowing that all is well. And out of that place, I've lashed out. Out of that place, I have spoken, foul words, right? You see all the Buddhist teaching over this, right mind, right language, right speech, all of that stuff, right? So I can see where I have done that. And because I can see your suffering, I know that I have suffered too at times in my life. And just like I wanted my suffering to end, my wish for you is that your suffering ends. And that you know that you have all that you need. Because people, you've probably heard this phrase, right? Hurting people hurt people, right? Heard that? So people who are acting out of pain are hurt people. And that's why they're hurting others. I tend to think in some of my daily prayer practice that there are some people in some very high offices in this land, right, that are elected to the highest offices that seems to me, in my observation, to be in a lot of pain because they're causing a lot of pain. I can be righteous about that, and trust me, at times I am, right? About my judgment about it and my anger about it. But in spiritual practice, my job is to come with compassion. You say, well, how can you have compassion for that individual when they're clearly doing all of these things? And the reason is because I can see their suffering. It's clear that that individual or individuals or whatever are suffering. They may not know that they're suffering, but it's clear that they're suffering. And because I have suffered too, my prayer is that their suffering ends. Now, what I know about people in positions is that when their suffering ends, sometimes they leave the position because they don't need to have that power to act out their suffering anymore. So that would be good too. But anyway, that's another, you see how the prayer works, right? Yes, may your suffering end. May you not need to wield this power anymore, right? May you be at peace in your retirement, right? But it's, there's maybe a little snarkiness in there, but because we're human beings, but there's still, that can be the unfolding of compassion, right? May this person not need this position to wield this power and do all this stuff for attention and all these other, like, can that end, please? I'd just like that to end, right? Do you need a hug? I'll give you a hug, right? Anyway, let me move on so I don't get in trouble. So loving kindness, compassion, joy is the third immeasurable way that we practice our awareness of love. In the Science of Mind perspective, we say that joy is spirit delighting in its own creation. The way I like to say that is that joy is the sound that integrity makes. Joy is the sound that integrity makes. When we're aligned in spirit, mind, and body, we know who we are, whose we are, we know what we're here to do. We're living our life purpose. We have our values and our actions are in alignment. When there's alignment, it's like harmonic resonance. And there's a vibration, there's a frequency that comes off of that alignment of all of those things. And that frequency is the sound of joy, right? It was my leaning into that idea where Spirit gave me the phrase that liberated people are generous people. A liberated soul is a generous soul. It's that same idea. It's like when there's alignment, when there's integrity, then joy is the vibration. When there's joy, there's generosity. Right? There's a flow that's taking place. So practicing joy and being in joy, even in the midst of the world of chaos and the world of injustices and the things that we want to change and the things that we want to see different in the world, that joy, you've heard that, joy is resistance, right? Because joy is an act of resistance. It's an act of resistance because it's an act of reminding ourselves that love belongs here, even in the presence of injustice, and it looks like there's not love here. So we allow ourselves to be in joy, to share joy, to generate joy with each other so that we're increasing that vibration. In addition to it being this sort of frequency of integrity, similar to the first question I asked, like, am I willing to be a place of love today? I think another really good spiritual practice question for joy is to simply start each day and say, what joy may come today? What joy may come my way today? What joy can I welcome today? And if you ask that question, then what you do is you put yourself in a position, A, to be in integrity, because joy is that vibration, that frequency of integrity. So if I say what joy may come today, then that means I'm receptive to joy. That means I'm going to move myself in my world today in a way that produces integrity. I'm going to do, say, and think things that are in alignment with each other. Why? Because I want to experience that joy that wants to visit today. And it's going to come from a surprising place, right? Loving kindness, compassion, joy. The fourth one is equanimity. Equanimity, this idea that going back to the allness of God, that the law of love is unchanging. It's always for us. It's never against us. And that in every moment, we trust God as our source and our supply. So we do circulation, we do volunteering, we do other things to practice that vibration. So those are the four from the Buddhist teaching. And now I want to do two from a science of mind perspective and a spiritual practice. The last one will be visioning. We'll have a song to set the tone before that. But before we do that, is this next one. And this next one I want to spend some time with, and it's acceptance. I've learned that acceptance is a transformational doorway through which we can cultivate and experience more love in the world. And it's one of the ones that I think most of us, most human beings, wrestle with the most. Because in the face of something that's not love, in the face of a challenge, in the face of injustice, in the face of simply a result that we don't like, your money, your health, your career, your relationships, your whatever, or the state of the world, or the state of a subject that you care about, anything is in a state of not okayness, right? And then you bring in this practice called acceptance. Immediately there's a defense. What do you mean acceptance? I don't want to accept it. I want it to change. I want it to transform. I want it to be different. I want my money to be different. I want my relationship to be different. I want the world to be different. I want, right? The world to be healed. I want this policy to be different. I want the government to do something different. I want our streets to be safer. I want whatever it is, right? I want it to be different. You're telling me I got to work with acceptance? Everything in you will go to acceptance, right? But here's the beautiful thing. Acceptance is not resignation to what is. Acceptance is the yes that frees us from our resistance and opens us up to possibilities. Acceptance is not permission for the condition to remain the same. Acceptance is our acknowledgement of what is so. And that's what makes it really powerful. Because you don't get to what's next until you're okay with what is so. And I don't mean okay like, oh, it can just stay here. It can just live in my living room, right? But you first have to acknowledge it's in your living room, right? You can't get it out until you see it. So I remember once, I've had lots of experiences of deep practices with acceptance, but one that was very profound for me. I was in Missouri in the Ozarks. This was 20 years ago. I was teaching at a conference. I was a speaker, and I was running the youth program as well. And a few years prior, about 2.5, 3 years prior to that, I had surgery on my right lung. I had a series of collapsed lungs through incidences, and I ultimately had reconstructive lung surgery. And it happened 3 different times before I had the reconstructive surgery. And so fast forward 2.5 years later, I'm back to playing basketball, I'm jogging, I'm doing all the things, I'm 20-something years old, I'm living a relatively normal life and doing this work. And so the furthest thing from my mind is that, anything like this could happen again, because the doctors were like, okay, we've taken care of that, just now go live your life. So I'm doing that. And I'm speaking. I give this keynote address on a Saturday night, and then I go to sit down. I'm done. And I remember at some point during my speaking that they said I turned white as a ghost. I don't know how I got whiter than I was, but I got more pale. And I remember feeling kind of, clammy, I guess. And this sort of breath that came out of me. I just thought I'd caught the Holy Ghost. Honest to God, I really did. I thought, I am preaching good. But I do remember physically kind of something sort of unusual physiologically happening. But I paid it no mind. I kept doing my thing. I had 5-10 minutes left and did my thing and closed. And then I went to sit down. And as I went to sit down in the chair, just as soon, and literally just as light as just a light touch, as soon as my back hit the back of the chair, this pain just shot through my chest. And it was just extreme. And I went, sort of looked around. Anybody else see that? What the heck happened? And then it happened again. I leaned back again. I went, oh my God. And the program, the room is full of people, 300-400 people. They've gone up and there's music, there's other things happening. And I'm just sort of having this weird experience all by myself. And so I'm like, okay, it still hurts. Yeah, it hurts three times now. Every time I lean back, it hurts. And I'm like, okay, I need to get out of this room and go see what this is. So I go to the bathroom. I just get up, walk out. And I'm in the bathroom. And then I begin to think, well, could it be my lung on this side? It's just, painful. And so because I'd been through it several times, I kind of knew some various things. So I bend over, put my head between my legs and cough, and it was really painful. And I did some other things that kind of helped me indicate to myself that, yes, indeed, this is happening. And it was 3 or 4 different things that I did. And I still didn't believe it. My mind could not believe, right? Because I'd had surgery on this side. I'd been there, done that. The doctors were like, go live a normal, happy life. I'd just given this great talk. I was what is going on? My mind, literally, I know we say that sometimes, I can't believe this is happening. My mind literally could not believe it. And yet, there was a part of me that was test this, test that, check this, okay. And I'm all alone in the bathroom. And I remember I did one thing, and I got dizzy, and I had to grab the wall. Imagine, I could have just passed out there in the bathroom. Nobody would have known anything. Who knows how long I would have been in there before somebody went, where'd David go? He went to the bathroom 30 minutes ago. And so sort of rehearsing those various scenarios, I'm the only one that knows this is going on, and I'm not convinced that it's happening. So I turn on the water, I splash cold water on my face, and I literally slapped myself twice. I looked in the mirror and I said, "Get it together. This is happening." And of course, I didn't say it that loud because that would have really hurt. But it was in my mind, I was screaming at myself. And I washed up, and I walked out. And there was a little lobby, and then there was the hotel ballroom where all this stuff was happening. There were some people sitting, having a conversation. So I went and sat down next to them, including the assistant minister of the program. And she reached over. She was having a conversation with somebody else, and so she reached over and grabbed my hand. And she was like, "Oh, you were so great." And as she grabbed my hand, I grabbed her hand back, and I just squeezed it. And she looked at me, and I went, "You need to call 911. And she was like, "Oh my God, what's wrong?" And all of a sudden there was a whole kerfuffle. And then they had to go through their layers of acceptance, right? And now I know the clock's ticking. I know something's wrong, you know. And so at this point, and you know, New Thought people, they were like, "Okay, let's get some Reiki, let's do some this, let's do some." I'm like, "Look, you can do all those things after you make the phone call, okay?" Because this is happening. But it was this powerful moment of what acceptance is. I didn't want to stay in that physical condition. I wanted it to get healed and transformed. But the first key, the gate that I had to go through, was acceptance that this is happening. This is happening right now. And there's no affirming this away. This isn't hell and it's not hot. This isn't hell and it's not hot. You guys know that joke? It's a great joke. Ask me later. But that's the punchline, right? Like, no, that's not going to work, right? There's no woo-woo, whatever, like no incense and spice that can be blown in my direction that's going to change the fact that this, in this moment, is happening. And from that moment of acceptance, now I can get the medical attention I need. Now I can get the energy and body work, which there were people doing energy and body work for me as we were waiting for the hospital to come, which was a long time because I was in Potosi, Missouri. But anyway, and all those other things could come into play. But acceptance had to come first. And so when we're dealing with anything in our life, again, relationships, money, health, well-being, career, all of the personal stuff, and in the world, stuff that we see on the news, wars, poverty, disease, injustices of any kind, the first thing is, this is happening. And that's not a acquiescence to the condition, to its permanent state, but it is a reality check that allows us to be present in the moment, to say, this is what is so right now. And now that I'm present with what is so, not okay with, but present with what is so, I now have all these options that open up before me. I say, how do I want to respond to that? What do I want to do with that? Now that I know that this is so, now that I know that this is the person in charge of this policy or this whatever. Okay, that's not the person I would have put in charge of that, but, right? But now I know that this is so. Okay, I'm okay with that, and I'm not okay with that, but I'm present to it. Now I know what my options are. Or this is the policy, or this is the injustice in the world, or this is the condition of your bank account, or this is the condition of relationship. Now that I know what is so, now I have all these options that open up for me, okay? So acceptance makes space for love that moves through us because it opens us up. It removes our judgment. It removes all of our conditions. Like, oh no, that can only be the case if da-da-da-da-da-da, or I'll only accept da-da-da-da-da-da. No, this is so. Now that we know that this is so, how do you want to respond to it? And then the final practice is visioning. And oh, yes. Oh, I love questions. Yeah, let's practice Sunday. We can ask questions. You guys can, yes.
So in one of our classes, we're studying Emma Curtis Hopkins.
Yes.
And she's big on denial.
Yes.
Part of affirmative.
Affirmations and denials. Yes, I love this. Thank you for the mic.
So in our class, we were studying Emma Curtis Hopkins, and she's very big on denials and affirmations, and
Right.
denials even as a way of the spiritual treatments or mind treatments that was practiced. So where do denials come in with what you were talking about acceptance, that this is going on, it's happening, and then there's this whole concept of denials. So how does that work out?
I wish we need to really dive into the work of Emma Curtis Hopkins more, and those who came before Ernest Holmes, because the practice of affirmations and denials were hand in hand with each other, and it kind of went away, and we chose affirmations as the more permanent practice. But denials are very powerful, and the reason that they are is because, and they get a bad rap because of the way we think of the word denial. It's not, again, it's not la, 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 la. It's not like, oh, I'm having this lung condition. La, 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 it's not happening. La, 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 deny. No, it actually requires both that acceptance and it's the denial that this has any permanent power over me, right? So with prosperity is a really popular example that comes up a lot. So you want this, you want to go on that vacation or afford this or do whatever or live a particular lifestyle, but your bank account or your income or your whatever is this at this moment, and they don't match, right? So the acceptance is, it is what it is, but it has no permanent status or control over me. So the denial is that this defines me in any permanent way. It defines the moment. My physical condition defined that moment, but it didn't define me, right? So the denial is, when we're doing prayer and affirmations, and when using affirmations and denial together in prayer work, then we say, this is the condition, and we deny its power over. This condition has no power over me. So that's the denial part. That's a great question. Did you all get that? Yeah. So we're not, again, it's not gaslighting, it's not bypassing. It's not la, 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 and I don't see that, right, which is manifested. It's gone from, that was Emma's teaching, 100 years ago, over 100 years ago, to today, like people like, oh, I just don't do that negative, I just don't watch the news. It's like, no, watch the news and then deny that person or that situation has any permanent power over what we have, which is the power to change it. It's a much different thing than just going, oh, I don't do that. Yeah.
Just to backtrack for a second.
Yeah.
When you used the word equanimity, I wanted to make sure I had the same understanding of it. And I may be the only one who didn't quite understand it. But
no, I was fast over that part, yeah.
As Kennedy often did when he spoke, he would define words and maybe even tell you the Latin origin or something like that.
Yes.
So, I just lost it. And here it is. So for anybody else who might want to know this, animus has several meanings, most notably the masculine psychological archetype in women, as described by Carl Jung. Actually, that went back. Let me go back. That was the wrong one. Equanimity is a state of mental and emotional stability characterized by calmness, composure, and balance in the face of challenging or distressing situations. That made sense to me. Mm-hmm. The word comes from the Latin equus, meaning even, and animus, meaning mind, meaning an even mind. It's the ability to remain unperturbed by extremes of fortune, success, or failure, pleasure or pain, and to observe events with patience and non-reactivity. That may be helpful to others.
Yeah, so again, it's going back to the equanimity of God or of spirit or of love, that equal access, right? And that we can rest in that, we can trust that presence is there. We can trust that it's not playing favorites. We can trust that we can rest in the calmness of the availability of love in our life or in the universe. Yeah. Oh, I love it. Okay, good. You ready for a little bit more? Yes. All right. We'll do a little song to ground us, and then we'll do visioning. Because that's the next. So I gave you the 4 immeasurables from Thich Nhat Hanh, and then acceptance is the next practice or tool. And then the last one is visioning. And visioning is important because it's important for us to always reach for a greater idea. It's kind of the counterbalance to acceptance, where acceptance is, okay, this is what is, but then we also must continue to reach for a greater idea. We must always have, the invitation of Spirit as the spark in our life to transform. I'm doing a thing for an anniversary of a church in California. They're celebrating their 80th, and I'm going to be talking about fire. And a fire needs 3 things in order to work, right? It needs the spark from the divine. It needs the new idea, or the heat source. It needs oxygen that fuels it. Oxygen is like our spiritual practice, keeps it alive as we pray, meditate, read, study, do all of these things. Come to spiritual community on Sundays or Wednesdays or whatever. We're engaging in the oxygen of our spiritual life, right? Giving it energy. But then you also need a fuel source. You need the thing that burns, which is, often, in technical terms called the fuel. And the fuel is that which is willing to be transformed. Which is you, by the way. Right? Sure, it should be, right? It's that which is willing to go from this state to this state via the heat when all the elements come together. So very often in spiritual community, we if we lack the oxygen, it's because there's not enough praxis. There's not enough people practicing. They're just intellectualizing the philosophy, but they're not breathing. If there's a lack of inspiration, it's because there's a lack of spark. There's a lack of the divine making room for new ideas, making room for inspiration. Or there might be a lack of fuel, which is a lack of bodies who are willing to be transformed by the teaching. This is what Ricky Byers, the song "Use Me," right? Use me, God. You let me be consumed by you, such that my state changes from this to this. Right? We need all 3 of those things to come together. And so visioning is a place where we get that spark. Visioning is a place where we open ourselves up to and say, give me a new idea, because, I'm plumb out of ideas. I've thought everything I need to think about my health or finances or the world or whatever. Give me a new idea. Give me a new thought. Let me hear from the divine and create that meditative space.
God is, I am right here, right now, right here, right now. God is, I am, God is, I am right here, right now, right now, right here, right now, right now. God is, I am.
And so as we move into this visioning practice, for those not familiar, visioning is simply an extended guided meditation in which we anchor ourselves in the vibration of unconditional love and ask the infinite intelligence of the universe, which is always residing in us, in, through, and around us, to speak to us, whether it be in pictures or in words or in feelings or tones, to ask particular guiding questions and then be receptive to whatever may come. So we've anchored ourselves in the awareness God is, right here, right now, I am. The infinite presence of the divine, which is love. And we are visioning for the activity of love in our life, that there be more love, more flow of the divine as love in the world and in our life. And so the first question, the visioning practice for today, is what is Spirit's highest idea of love through and as me? What is Spirit's highest idea of love through and as me? What does that look like or feel like or sound like? Breathe in. And as you exhale, just be receptive. Receptive to God's highest idea or Spirit's vision, what more love would look like in your life or in the world. No need to question or judge the form that the answer takes, just allow it to come. Taking a deep breath. And now ask the question, what must I become? What must I be or become in order to make room for this vision to unfold in my life? What must I be or become? Next exhale, simply listen. And the next in-breath, move forward. You can always go back and listen to this meditation later and go deeper. Journal and write your ideas. For now, trust that Spirit and your intellect and your soul is retaining everything that you need to retain. Well, what must I do? What is mine to do in order to bring about this vision? What action can I take, or what must I do to bring about this vision? Taking another deep breath. Move forward with the next question. Trusting our intellect is always available to the fullness of the visioning process, Spirit's highest idea of love in my life and in the world. What must I become? What must I do? And now, what must I embrace? What idea or what energy must I embrace to make room for this vision in my life? And once again, a deep breath in. And we ask our higher power, the infinite wisdom of the universe, which already knows all that it needs to know, to reveal to us, what must I release? What must I release or let go of? So that there are no obstacles between myself and this vision. The path is clear. What must I release or let go of? And finally, we'll ask, is there anything else in this moment, knowing that it's just a brief moment in time of spiritual practice, that can always return for the full depth of the download from Spirit? Is there anything else in this moment that I need to know about Spirit's highest idea of love in my life and in the world? Of what I must become, what I must do, what is mine to embrace, what is mine to release, or anything else. Let it be known now. We give thanks for this holy download. We know that our minds have captured all that it needs to capture. We let it be, and so it is. And so there was just a brief, short practice of visioning. You can ask lots of different questions in visioning, and we have classes. We do visioning here on a regular basis. I learned it at a particular way, and I tend to stick to that way. And the questions that I asked: highest vision, being, doing, releasing, or embracing. I added that one. Really, so highest vision, doing, sorry, highest vision. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. Highest vision. Being. Some of you got that. Doing. Good for you. Embracing and releasing. Okay, 5. The reason I like that order is because the biggest question that comes up in the practice of visioning is afterwards, people will say, what do I do now? I had my little paper there, I had my crayons, I colored, I drew, I wrote words, I captured whatever it is I captured, whether it made sense or not, but how do I move into, I want a vision for my business, I want a vision for my prosperity, I want a vision, me and my partner are visioning for whatever. How do I? And the answer is in those questions, but you take them in the reverse order. So your highest priority, and if you have a prayer partner, it's really great to support. Your highest priority is releasing. Because until you let go of whatever's blocking you from the vision, none of the other work will matter. So you start, so in visioning, you start with the highest idea. So it's a lot like our spiritual symbols. Start with the highest idea, being, doing, embracing, releasing. The manifesting process, you work backwards. What's holding me? What do I need to release? Let me work on that. My daily, I'll wake up in the morning, okay, I'm working on that business, I'm working on that dream, or I'm working on that. Well, what was that thing I said I need to release? Then you go to work on that. And then once you energetically and symbolically and everything else do the work to release whatever you need to release, then if I've released it, now my hands are open. What can I do after my hands are open? Embrace. Now I'm available to embrace. How can I embrace something new if I'm still holding on to the thing that I'm supposed to release? My energy is occupied, holding on. I can't embrace something new. So I have to release first, then I can embrace. If I'm embracing something new, then I'm going to be doing something different. So I can start doing something different. And if I'm doing something different, then I can start being something different. And you can, rule of Frank Sinatra, you can doobie-doobie-doo. You can put those in any order you want if you want to do the doing first and the being second, or the being first and the doing second. Because one is the energy of and the other is the action of. And they go hand in hand. So release, embrace, then doing and being. And if you've released and you're embracing and you're being and doing in the world, that which is in alignment with the vision that you have for fill in the blank, could be anything, then guess what's happening in your life? The vision, automatically. It's automatically unfolding in real time because you're building it with your behaviors and actions and intentions. And that's how we practice visioning for anything in our life, whether it's love or prosperity or any other subject. All right, those are the practices for today. I hope that you enjoyed the opportunity to dig deep and dive deep into some deeper spiritual practice today. Let me invite practitioners to come forward as we pray out our service. We pray for our community, for members in our community, wherever they are in their journey of physical well-being, financial well-being, and health. We know that there are those who could not be here today. We pray for those who are online. We pray for those in our wider community in the world, anyone who's feeling themselves at the effect of any condition or circumstance in the world. We see you. We hear you. We acknowledge that in this moment, those feelings and those fears or worries or concerns are heavy and they're legitimate. But they are not the permanent truth of who and what you are. We stand in solidarity in this moment to know that who and what you are is spirit. Who and what you are is the eternal I am. Who and what you are is the God presence that seeks to manifest itself in and through all creation as love and joy and as beauty and as peace and as harmony and as creativity, unbounded by any circumstance or condition. And that very thing, that very vibration, that very essence is knocking at the door of your consciousness, seeking its way in through every thought, and every word, and every behavior, and every action that you take. Let it come in. Welcome it. Let it sit down at your table. Feast and dine with that divine idea as your higher self. And watch as the miracles unfold, as relationships and new opportunities and doorways and vibrations and frequencies open up new paths of possibility. Oh, I know that this is what is happening here and now for you and for me, for the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta, for our world, for our nation, for every part of the world and every person in it who is in pain or anguish. I know that this possibility exists. I know that our collective consciousness can open doorways of possibility of peace and joy and justice and harmony. It's in our hands to do. It's in Spirit's realm to make real. But it is in our hands to do. And so we say yes in this moment. Yes to being the vehicles of this greater love and vibration of truth, so that justice may roll down like water. Peace, love, security, health, and well-being may roll down like water into our lives and fill the vessels of our consciousness, of our receptivity, so that we are filled to the brim and overflowing with the essence of this love and this truth. This is the activity of Spirit that is taking place in this place, right here and right now. I give thanks for knowing that it is so, and I simply allow it to be so. I give thanks. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you for being present and available this day to this mind and this consciousness and to this moment. I release this word knowing that it's already done in the mind of God and it's ours. Now the great joy of being in the vibration and the energy of this truth as our lives. And so we say together, and so it is. And so we let it be. Ashe, amen. Peace and blessings. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Reverend David. Woo! We are connected. Join with me as we sing our closing song. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We envision a world that works for everyone and for all of creation. We see all people, all beings as expressions of God. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. We see a world that works for everyone. Everyone, everyone, yeah. Yes, we do. see you downstairs. We have a lot of conversations to have and some food to share, and then we'll be back up here to meet with Reverend David in a small room, right? Have a great day, everybody.